Okay, here we go. Three. What was that
Hang on,
noise?
I got sneeze. Hang on. I'm fighting all of. Oh well, it'll probably come out right when we're talking. Go ahead.
I'll wait.
I got a Kleenex. All right, go ahead.
No, no. I
Go
mean,
ahead.
well, you do know you have a mute button now.
Yeah, well,
So, I
I
mean,
know.
if you need to sneeze, just hit the mute button.
I'm
You
trying to.
see
Oh
it?
yeah, that's right. I got it. I got it. You're
It's
right.
the little micro.
Okay,
It's the little
that's a little
microphone. Go ahead.
microphone. No, I
Go
got
ahead
it.
and tap it. Right.
I don't. Okay, ready? I'm counting to five. One, two. Did you?
I lost you after two.
I am I back on?
Yes, you're back on.
Mute button works fine. All right,
Yeah, works fine.
got it.
So, all right, here we go. Three, two, one. On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, another holster pop, STG 44 dreams, will Comey sing, and a new polar bear hustle. Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Danny and Marky, and this is episode 384 of the John 1911 podcast. I do this every time I forget. Today is Monday, September the 29th, 8:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as promised, after all the construction, we are going to get back into the swing of doing some more frequent podcasts. Not every podcast has to be like a mega long one. I feel like we can also sneak in some short ones. So it's just going to be Danny and I tonight, talking some little bit of guns, a little bit of politics, and a little bit of what I call pop culture. Then, I've got a brand new best headline for you as well. So, how you been since I talked to you? What was it, last night or the night before? Was it last
It was
night?
no, it was the night before. Last night, I had a banquet I had to attend.
A banquet. Oh, fancy. Okay.
Well,
Did you?
it was for sports officials.
Okay. So like the Illuminati banquet. Okay. So like,
Yeah, that's it.
is
Yeah,
is
the
that where
real
they give?
Illuminati.
Is that where they give out all the payola for all the borderline calls? It happens at the banquet.
That's where I get the foot up my ass for being so
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah. This is for you. This is and Danny gets a new car. It's like,
Yeah, a 63 Rambler with two hubcaps. That's it.
yeah, that's good.
Nah, it's just been crazy around here. I'm glad that we're back into the swing of the pods, with everything
Yeah,
going. You've been busy, I've been busy, Kraken's been busy. It's hard to get the whole band together at times.
yeah,
I see what you go through.
yeah. Well, also after we finished recording and I was getting the pod ready to publish, I noticed, and the listeners know this, like they knew it before they know it now, like because they've obviously heard the pod, but I didn't know when it's happening. The audio, there was some kind of click or something in the audio, and I think it was coming through on Kraken's channel. So I don't know if it's something's breaking through on his end, if there's some kind of loose connection or whatever it was, but I've got to diagnose that. But I wanted to get this pod in tonight since I had the time, because tomorrow I'm not going to have the time, and it's like, well, you know what? I need to kind of get it going and get it together and do all that. So, well,
Sounds good.
first thing I just want to mention. You've heard of obviously all the SIG P320 drama that's been going on for years.
Yes.
There's a guy named Ben Stover, and he's a kind of a well-known shooter in shooting circles. He's not well known outside of shooting circles. He is kind of a guy who's transitioned off into, I would call it, government contracting training as a weapons instructor, and so he interfaces with a lot of different people, but he's this pushy guy. And anyway, he gets all these inside. He's like, he has this podcast where he does all the gossip and all the happenings in USPSA. And he got a tip, I guess, yesterday today's Monday, so it was probably last night because it happened over the weekend. There was a SIG P320 holster pop. Supposedly the gun was in the holster at Area 3. And I haven't been able to confirm it. I haven't seen him confirm it, but we're right back to where we were with the SIG P320s, popping. And it was
Yeah.
interesting because I put it on the Facebook page because I just thought it would, interest a lot of people, especially, whether people have a dog in this hunt or whether they're SIG people or they hate SIG. And it was interesting because I saw something I didn't expect. There were a lot of people that came in and they were basically saying this is fake because the Air Force basically exonerated the M17 because of the shooting that turns out that didn't happen at, or the uncommanded discharge that may not have happened at Minot or whatever it was, or Effie Warren. And it's like guys, I mean,
They're
you don't
notorious for
realize,
having an AD, aren't they? Isn't that the
yes, and
problem? They have the AD all the
and
time.
and Sig and Sig denies it's a problem. Sig denies it ever happens. It obviously has happened. There's various theories. The FBI did a crime lab analysis on them, and it was very bad. On some guns for was it Michigan State Police, I think it was. And anyway, and so people are not understanding. It's like they think that the SIG P320 was exonerated because whatever the CID or whatever they call the Air Force Criminal Investigative Division said that it wasn't an uncommanded discharge, or they don't believe it was an uncommanded discharge. But what they don't realize is, no, this is the first crime that is now this gun is being used as an alibi because it is notorious for going off on its own. And that phenomenon is going to get worse. And I predicted this because you're going to start seeing shootings, justified shootings or claimed justified shootings with police departments where you've got somebody at gunpoint, the guy doesn't obey or does something stupid, eats a couple rounds, and then the family hires an attorney, and instead of making the argument, why did you shoot Ray Ray because he was acting like an asshole, the argument's going to be, your gun went off on its own and you're covering it up by blaming Ray Ray and making him a scapegoat when it's really your negligence of your gun. And this is going to be a nightmare for
I'll
this
bet.
gun. Yeah,
What a
people don't
scenario to think
realize.
of.
Yeah. Yeah, and every time one of these guns there's a justified shooting, somebody's going to come in and be like, "Well, okay. Yeah, sure it was. Like, you had every legal right to unholster the weapon. You had every legal right to point the gun at the dude. You had every legal right to prep the trigger. But maybe you decided, this guy's not quite to the threshold. I have to shoot him. Bam. Oh, fuck. The gun went off on its own. What are we going to tell everybody? Well, we're just going to tell him that he deserved it. That's going to be the argument. And it's like, oh my God, I'm telling you. Privately, you're going to start to see, what do you call them? What do they call those? I'm having a brain fart. Whenever you hire an expert witness, like expert witnesses and consultants are going to start advising prosecutors' offices and police departments and sheriff's offices and attorney generals, stop carrying this gun, stop certifying this gun, because even if you do everything right, you could still be wrong because of the freaking gun. And it's just like, oh God, this is never going to go away. This is never going to go away with this gun. So unfortunately, there's no end to it. I'm just kind of rambling on, kind of like the never end. The
No,
SIG P320 is the argument that never ends.
well, don't you have didn't you tell me one time that if I have one, don't ever bring it to the range? You're not allowed on the property.
Yeah, we banned them. It wasn't a month or so ago. I think I told this on pod. There's a small police department. I'm not going to say who they are because I'm not even going to say what kind of police department they are because it would help identify it. Small police department. I have not seen them since COVID. And they popped up 3 weeks ago. And I will be gosh darn if they're not carrying SIGs. And I'm like, when the hell did you guys switch to SIG P320s? They used to carry Glock 22s. And these guys don't have any money. And it's like why they still had the Glock 22
They
because
they dropped down from a 40 to a 9. That's crazy.
that's what everybody did because the 40 is kind of really unpopular with law enforcement. And this police department was one of the last hangers on of the 40 because they don't have the money to change. And so they finally got the money. They made a change, and they're running 320s, and it's like, oh fuck. And the guy I was talking to him, he's turns out he's also their chief firearms instructor because that's why he came by the range. And I was like, fucking Christ, dude. It's like, when did you guys do that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, he said, I think they're okay. And, he started citing the Air Force stuff. And I'm like, nah, man, this is real. This is going to be a problem. And, the Marine Corps even had one go off, and they had it on film, and they determined it was the gun. It was an M18. And his argument why they chose the gun was when they go to
Price
the
price
academy,
point.
well, price point, yes, but not only price point, but it was aggressive pricing. But when there's an issue, basically, the academy that these people go to does not let people use red dots, so they have to shoot irons. And so, but when they come to his department, they can run red dots or do irons. Well, if they issue them the 320 and they go to the academy with the 320, they can the way it's set up, the sites co-witness. They don't have to, they can take a guy who goes through the academy, maybe say someone who doesn't know shit from shooting. He's a cop, but he doesn't know anything about guns. He can go through the academy with his iron sights, learn his gun, his sights, and kind of know all that. If he wants to mess with a red dot, he could park a red dot on that 320, and they don't have to change the sights because of how it sits with the co-witness. And so they're super comfortable with that. And when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's a good point. I just never thought about it. This is a really small department, like crazy small. But it's like it's real easy for dudes that got money, running with the cool guys and the SWAT teams and the out of state, whatever, and all this. And this little department comes up with something, and it's like, I don't even think about it because, to them, it's one gun, and they don't want their guys because this department is so small. And here's the other thing: this department is so small that they don't pay that well. And so typically, most of the officers they hire, it's their first job in law enforcement. So it could be their first job, their first duty pistol, their first time really working the road, and everything is first, and they don't want to take people that are so new and then start switching up their guns and their sights. And I was like,
I could
damn, I never thought about that.
right. I could see that.
I
I
never
could
thought
see
about,
that.
like, a big city department has to cater to the lowest common denominator, but I didn't think about a rural crazy small broke ass department also having to do the same thing. I was like, holy shit, I never thought about it like that. I never thought
Yeah.
about it like that at all. Yeah. Like here's how bad this department, it's not bad, but this department has so little money that if you're married and you get hired on at this department, they cannot give your spouse health benefits.
Oh, that's small.
It's real small. Yeah, they don't have the money. And it's just like, these guys got 320s, and you're just like, oh, no. And they're literally like, well, they're like, we're keeping them for another 3 years. And I'm like, 3 years? You don't keep them? Apparently, it's the weirdest thing. They're a broke ass department. They're real small, but they don't keep guns for 10 years. They keep them for 5. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. Because typically, most departments will have a 10-year window. It's like, every 10 years, we got to get rid of these, for insurance purposes and liability. We're going to recycle them out. This little broke ass department, they're already a couple years in. They're just like, we're just going to ride it out for a couple more years. And hopefully we can find something that we can afford to replace it with. Or
Well,
hopefully SIG will fix it.
well, the only thing I could think of, and I know it doesn't make any sense, especially to a police officer, is if the SIGs do have a problem, just don't carry one in the chamber, I guess, until you need to rack it.
Yeah,
What el-
that's
that's
asking.
the only
That's asking for.
what else can you possibly do?
Well, the thing is, if you're to the point that you have to do that, the gun isn't fit for duty and service.
Right.
It's called Condition Zero, and that is like, there's so many problems with that are beyond the scope.
Oh,
That is
I agree,
that's
but I'm just thinking of
yeah.
a quick fix. That's one of them.
Yeah, if you're a home gamer and for some reason, or whatever, you are not comfortable carrying your gun, but it's the only gun you got and you're really worried about it, just carry it condition zero. It's better than not having it. But
right?
you could definitely have some issues. You could
Well, no,
definitely have some issues.
there's still one more step. You could be like Barney Fife and have the one bullet in your pocket, and then you'd have to take it out and put it in.
There is that. So,
That's condition 00.
condition double zero.
A little levity. Got to have some fun
So,
tonight.
and there was one more thing I saw, and then we'll get off the gun stuff. There's a guy. He's on YouTube, and his name is Mark Felton, and he does these history little YouTube
I
videos.
watch them all the time. I
And
love
he
the
released,
introduction music.
yeah, and he released one. I don't know, a couple days ago, at least when I saw it, and it was on a stash of STG 44s, which is the Sturmgewehr machine gun that the
Right.
Nazis invented.
The
Like it's
machine guns.
the
Right.
like those guns are worth like 40, 50, $60,000 maybe in the US if you can find them. And he did a story, and I thought it's like, oh, they found more. He was rehashing an old story, but they had found during the Syrian civil war a shipping container with 5,000 of these things in them that basically were unissued or kind of
Oh
like
my God.
lightly used. Yeah, because they had gotten them from like the East Germans, during the Cold War in the 60s because Syria was aligned with the West, with the Warsaw Pact. And so they, East Germany sitting on all these Nazi weapons. And so they're puking them out to any communist group or any group that's their allies. And this shit's all over the Middle East. And it's like, these guns are worth a fortune. And it's like, part of me is like, I don't know, go to Syria, scoop up some STG 44s, cut them up into parts kits, you know,
That's a
ship
heavy,
them.
heavy weapon, too. That's a big
Yeah,
mother.
they're big. I don't know if
That's
they're stamped sheet metal. I've never fired one. I've never held. Have I? I have. I have never held an STG 44. I've never held one. I don't
if
know
you
how.
haven't, you know I haven't.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of them.
I don't know. Them brothers in Chicago, they pop up with all kinds of machine guns anymore.
If
So
they pop up with a Sturmgewehr, then that's beyond me. Then,
yeah, it's who knows. So
but anyway,
what's going on with you?
what's new in politics?
Yeah, what's new in politics?
Well, I
What's new
watched.
in?
Well, is the government shutting down tomorrow?
Oh, is that tomorrow? I believe they will.
Yes, I think they will
And
too.
it's
You
been
know what the
predicted for a couple
big?
weeks.
Do you know what they need? What, 6 or 7 Democrats to come along to get the 60 votes for the 60 vote out of the
For
Senate.
cloture,
The House has passed it, but the Senate still has not. Do you know? I was reading today. You know what the big hang up for the Democrats is why they don't want to go over to the dark side and vote for it?
I have a guess. My guess is they want a million. They want $10 million for furry programming on Sesame Street.
No,
Oh, okay, it was a
no.
good guess. Okay.
They want almost $1 billion for, are you ready for this? Education and sex change operations for kids that they want the government to pay for.
Oh,
You can't make this up.
and that's what the
Yes, I'm
Democrats.
serious about that.
That's what they. That's what they
They're
want
going
to.
to die on that hill. Yeah. Yeah, the military part's okay, the education part's okay, this or that, but the Republicans took out all of anything to do with the sex change, this, that, all the other type stuff like that. It's not going to be paid for. Well, they want it put back in, or they're not going to vote for it. They're going
Holy
to shut
shit!
down the government over that.
If this is true, if this
Hey,
ultimately ends up being the reason, well, number one, the government won't be shut down that long. Number two, the Democratic Party is in serious, serious trouble.
Yes, they are. Yes, and what the
We're
Democrats are calling it is the Republicans are taking away our health care. Let's pinpoint the part of health care you're talking about. Then the truth comes out.
yeah, it's always yeah. So where's Fetterman on this?
I don't know. I think he's going to side with the Republicans, or maybe he has.
I would think he might become a Republican at this rate. I mean, I don't like. Look, the this begs the question: like, what happens to the Republicans? Because the argument's always been that the Republicans in the House are going to lose the House in the midterms for under
And
Trump's.
I disagreed with you the other night, remember?
And it's like, but stuff like this. If this is really it, this is what they want to die on. With considering everything that's going on. I mean, Jesus, read the room, guys. Oh my God. I mean,
How about that terrible church shooting and burning? And did you see that in Michigan?
yeah, I saw that, and then there was, I guess, the guy who shot up the boat dock or the restaurant on the water, and I don't know what's going on with any of them. Like, I really haven't. I've been so busy today that I mean, I've seen it, but I don't know. Like, I mean, is the guy who attacked the church? Is he like a Satanist? Is he a
No, they said
communist? Is he an
he was discharged.
atheist?
He was discharged from the Marine Corps. They said as a sergeant. They're still digging into everything, but supposedly when he rammed through the doors, he was throwing all kinds of gas and stuff, shooting people and setting the fire at the same time.
They don't know. They don't know. Have any motivation? Like, was he member of the church?
I don't know. It's pretty well hushed. I mean, other than the name, this or that. Yeah, I mean, the motive is still unclear at this point. Unless there might be something out now, but earlier in the day when I was looking at the news, that's what they said.
I mean, nobody wants to. I mean, like all the Christians that are getting killed in Nigeria right now, the amount of attacks that happen. Like, I can't speak for every church, but as a Catholic, look, I'm not like a good Catholic. I mean, I've raged against the Catholic Church. It's fine. I mean, the amount of attacks that happen against Catholic churches and Catholic facilities are just in the United States. It's pretty high, and just like vandalism and things that happen, it's it's pretty high. I mean, it's higher than what you would. It's this way. Think of it this way. It's way more. It's this is going to get people screaming. It is way more dangerous to go to a Catholic church in America today than it is to go to an abortion clinic.
But this wasn't a Catholic church. It was Seventh Day Adventist, the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter Day Saints.
Well, that's Mormon. That's not 7 day. That's not seven
Mormon.
day events. Event.
That's
Yeah.
right. They're Mormon. Sorry.
Um. Yeah, I do know. I do know that they're Mormons. The Church of Latter LDS. They call. They don't like to be called Mormons. They call themselves LDS, Latter Day
Right.
Saints. So, um, yeah, I have no. I mean, I think it's interesting that it's real quiet. I mean, is it quiet? I don't know. I've just been so busy.
I hate to be ignorant, but I think a lot of us are going to be packing going to church. It's crazy, isn't it?
I pack every time I go to church.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. Who would have thought it?
I found a church not that far from the John 911 range that I think is kind of nice. Um,
Oh, good.
yeah, I mean
Good.
it's. I mean, I'm armed to the teeth, brother. I mean, I'm ready to rock.
My
Like,
luck, my luck, I'd be carrying a SIG 320, walk into church, genuflect, and there goes an accidental discharge.
yeah,
Probably hit a
yeah, I'd be
statue,
too.
knowing my luck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My position is, it's like this church has armed security. They just don't know it.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, I run that
It's a,
surreptitious I run that surreptitious armed security program.
That's right. You never know what's in the collection bag, see it.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow. Yeah.
I've been carrying in churches forever. I mean,
I
for it's
always
going
thought
on
of it
20
as
years.
I always thought of that as sacrilegious, but not no more.
Yeah,
Self
well,
preservation.
I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. So,
Yeah. Well, and so now, supposedly, oh my God, you're talking about brain fart. Who was Trump's attorney that is going to jail? He flipped on Trump. Oh
oh,
shit, I can't even.
Cohen,
Yeah, he did you see what he came out and said? Uh, I guess he was a speaker on MSNBC,
he was
and
listening to our podcast, apparently.
really
Well,
good,
I'm just saying because we were asking. I was asking you, is you think Comey's going to go to jail? And you're like, oh yeah, he's going to jail. And I'm like, it's going to get thrown
right?
out. And go ahead, your boy. He got on.
Yeah,
What did
go
he
ahead.
say?
Wait, drum roll, please. Cohen said Comey's going to jail.
Comey's guilty, and he's probably going to go to jail.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was, and he heard that first on our podcast, and then he
I
decided to
think he
run with
did.
our theory.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's the
plagiarism.
I mean, look, every day the media listens to this podcast to get their marching orders on what they're going to cover. That's obvious. So, I mean, that's kind
Oh,
of a
well,
joke, tongue
yeah,
in
it
cheek.
is.
But I will tell you, there have been I've been shocked at some of the people I've heard that listen to our little corner of the internet. I'm like, holy shit, really? So yeah, I mean, so I didn't see Cohen talk about that, but I did see a screen grab where they showed the faces of the other people on the panel and the sourpuss faces they had, and it's like, oh yeah, they're like they didn't expect they thought old Cohen was going to show up there, and I think his name's Cohen,
I'm
isn't
I'm
it?
s- I think it is. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out who the other two unnamed indictments are going to be against. It's going to be interesting. I'm waiting to see who
Um,
comes out of the woodwork on this one.
yeah, that's no one's even talking about that. It's kind of interesting how you know.
It's quieted. It's going to be. Here's my okay. I'm going to go on record right now. When one or two of the others are named, it's going to be bombshell. I really think that. I think it's going to be high, super high profile. I really do. I think it's going to be, you know, I just think it's going to be crazy high profile. And I still say Comey's going to sing.
See, that's interesting because you're the only person. So, like, there's a debate, and we had this 2 days ago, whether, you know, Comey's going to be found guilty or not guilty. And, I'm of the opinion that some judge will just throw this out. They'll find some reason and they'll throw it out because they don't want this, constitutional crisis, whatever that means. Like, the FBI isn't in the Constitution. But um, I feel like that they'll shit can this to save their own bacon, and you're of the opinion
Right.
not only will this get beyond preliminary hearings and actually become put some Comey in real jeopardy. Comey will flip and start testifying.
That's,
He'll become a witness for the
that's,
government.
yeah, that's
That
going to
is
be
that has got to
that. And
be
I'm
you
not saying
you
that is my take on what's going to happen. I might
you've
be a
done that
thousand
twice
percent
now.
wrong.
I'll tell you what, if that
What's
ends
that?
up being happen, you were going to be Nostradamus because you're gonna. I mean, it's gonna be like, yeah, we got this guy over here. I'm gonna lose you to Fox News at that point. If it occurred, like, hey, Danny was over here 18 months ago calling this one bitches. Like, like what?
Well, I'll tell you why. You maybe you'll agree with me, maybe you won't. The reason Comey will flip is that I think they have the goods on him. I think they have some goods on the other two people that are going to be indicted or under indictment or whatever it is. They want more concrete evidence. Comey's arrogance is going to do him in because he's going to have that come to Jesus moment to where he's going to be arrogant, arrogant, arrogant. And then the government is going to show evidence, evidence, evidence. And eventually the needles are going to line up and he's going to be faced with breaking that arrogance, realizing what's going to happen to him in the long run, and he's going to sing. That's my theory.
Okay. I think the more you make the argument, the more compelling it is because you are correct. Okay. They've got, I mean, Comey was the director of the FBI. And from day one of the January 2017, the new Trump administration is in power, and it's kind of crazy over at the White House. And Comey's sitting over there in his suite at the director's office, and they're having phone calls and emails and text messages and meetings discussing elements of this Hurricane Crossfire program to take down Trump. And it's probably all documented. So,
And
okay, who's
I
bigger
have,
than Comey? So basically, are you saying was Hillary Clinton Secretary of State during the election when she lost? Was she actually functioning as Secretary of State?
yes,
No.
she was. Yes, she was under Obama.
Well, no, but that was this. Was that the first half? That wasn't during the second term, was it? No. Was she Secretary of? Was she a sitting? I can't remember. Was she a sitting Secretary of State during the
I,
election?
I believe she was because that's when they brought
Yeah,
up all the Benghazi stuff happened under her watch.
yeah, but that was early. She wasn't. She wasn't Secretary of State the whole time, was she? I don't even remember.
I want to say she was. You know, I have
Well,
my
if they get Conan, if they get Comey to flip, oh my God, I'm realizing what you're saying here.
right. The
Oh my
stakes are
God, I realize what you're saying here because you're like, oh, who's going to be the other people, the other unnamed people, and it's like I don't
high
know, some
profile.
lawyer in the
No,
basement of the whatever, and I'm realizing they're talking about going after Biden, Obama, or Hillary.
or Holder. It's going to be so. It's going to be two very high profile people, and me personally, I don't think that the DOJ is doing this on Trump's whim because he wants it. I think that they have their ducks in a row. I really do. There's probably been
Well,
some underling flipping already to even get more evidence. Because you don't start at the top and work down. You go from the down and you build your case, build your case, build your case, build your case. So I would love to see the transcripts of what they presented to the grand jury to even get the indictment.
okay, so I'm looking it up on the internet right now. Eric Holder was Obama's Attorney General from February of 2009, which when he was, so he basically, from the very beginning, that just he had to get it confirmed. It's through April 27th of 2015. So that last year and a half, he wasn't the Attorney General, and he was succeeded by Loretta Lynch. And
Right.
remember when Loretta Lynch had the meeting on the tarmac with Bill in like Tucson or
Oh, that's
somewhere?
right.
And
And they were talking about grandkids.
yeah, that was
Remember
dirty
that?
as fuck,
I
dude.
think a lot of it's going to come out.
I don't think it's Holder. I don't know if it's Lynch. Who's that woman that used to work for Hillary Clinton? What's her name? Um, woman. Oh
Oh,
God,
Wiener's
she's been.
girlfriend?
No, that's Uma Abedin. Though they're going after
Wiener's
Soros too.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, she worked for Hillary.
Oh, she was Hillary's like body man for years.
Right.
She was Hillary's. Yeah, she ran Hillary's life.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I
if
thought
you
you were
want,
thinking
if
of.
yeah, if you wanted to spy on the Secretary of Defense or you wanted to spy on Hillary Clinton, you spied on Uma Abedin because Uma Abedin ran all
Right.
Hillary shit. Um, and she's married to George Soros' son. They
Yeah,
just got
didn't
married. Yeah,
I
this
thought that
year.
she was married to
Or
Wiener or going out with him or something.
she was married to Anthony Weiner. Then they got divorced because of all the sex scandal shit that
Right.
happened. That took down Hillary Clinton's president or candidacy. Which kind of got old Comey fucking wrapped up in it with the computer, which is, like for a long time, it's interesting because but get back to Comey here. People how quickly they have the brain power of a lizard because it's like, Comey versus Trump, Comey versus the Republicans. I mean, for the first year of Donald Trump's presidency, the Democrats blamed Hillary Clinton's loss on Comey. On Comey.
When he came out with the no indictment over the bleach pit and the smashed iPhones and the computers, remember? When he came in
Yeah.
and made that speech right before
Well,
the
that's what
election?
I'm. The woman who I was trying to remember the name that worked for Hillary Clinton. She was involved in smashing a lot of those devices. But I don't know. I mean, do you think they're working a case where like they're getting the low level ones to see if they'll flip on the higher level ones?
I think they've already flipped.
Really?
Yes. Come on. And as you know, you build your case from the bottom up, the groundwork up. You get the underlings to start talking. Then you
Yeah, but I don't feel like the Comey case was built that way. I feel like the Comey case is existed
oh,
because they walked into the FBI building, they got access to all the corners, and they found all the shit. I don't think they worked
I
people
think
to get
I
up to
think
Comey.
that no, I'll disagree with you. I think that a lot of the FBI people to keep their jobs, pensions, this, that, all the other shit, turn state's evidence. I really do. Because they were either going to be shown the door, shown a jail cell, or talk. I really feel that.
I hate to do this, but in the closing night of the Republican National Convention in 2020, or in 2020 2024, they played the scenes from that movie, like that mobster movie or whatever, where all the people went around town whacking all their enemies. Do you remember that? They played
Oh, from
that
The
like that.
Godfather when he did
Is that from
cleared
The
all the family
Godfather?
business. Right.
Yeah, I hate all that gangster because I fucking dealt with fucking real fucking organized crime. I hate romanticizing that. But it's like, dude, I mean, if they can get their Trump, look, the Russia shit really fucked with Trump bad. And if through some miracle, it's not a miracle, if some like holy grail shot, Trump can get his hooks back into Hillary, he will put that bitch in fucking jail.
I think so too. What I'm
I
saying,
think, I think, I think, oh, go ahead.
I guess what I'm saying is with the indictment of Comey and the other two unnamed, I'm saying that the DOJ has their ducks in a row, and it's gonna. I won't say can of worms. I'm talking bombshell. I really feel that because for one reason, Trump, Patel, even Pam Bondi and stuff, they don't want to lose any face by not having an ironclad case, especially when you're going high profile. There's too much stakes to lose with the midterms coming up. And I think that they're thinking long run. Like I said the other night, the Republicans will keep the House because this is coming out and it is going to make a whole lot of the other side look bad to where the Republicans are going to keep their seats. That's why I say it's ironclad. I really think that.
Well, a couple things. I can't remember. Was the program called Hurricane Crossfire or Crossfire Hurricane? I can't remember which way it was.
One of the two.
But I
One of the two.
remember when, like when
Semantics
this,
don't matter.
when this was coming out in like the process and the name of the operation, because it was a national security operation, so it literally had a code word, Crossfire Hurricane. And I remember they had gotten it down to the point they knew the principals that were in the room at the White House that launched the program. And they were saying that Biden was in the room. They were saying that Obama was in the room and some other people. And I remember whenever they get to the point of talking about Biden and Obama and like where this ended up in the White House before Trump came in, all of a sudden the conversation stops. And people get real nervous about Obama on this one. And if they're trying to get Obama, that's all the more incentive for some federal judge to all of a sudden be back into, we have to observe the political norms of the United States. I'm going to throw this case out. If they have their ducks in a row and they're gonna make, you're gonna come at the king, whichever king it is. I think one of these judges is going to throw themselves in front of that knife to stop them.
It'll
I
be
have a hard
overturned
time
though.
believing.
No, it'll be overturned. It'll come out. It will come out.
So I
It
don't know.
will
So
come out.
if a sitting federal court judge, which is a lifetime appointment, decides to throw out a case, vacate a case, I guess they could appeal it to the Supreme Court.
That's what they will do. That's what they will do.
That'd be a fucking mess.
But the Supreme Court doesn't matter if it's a 6-3. The Supreme Court will go on the merits of the case, and that's where I keep saying this whole thing is going to be bombshell, both with the unnamed, with the facts, with everything from judges to this to that to whatever, every piece of cog in the wheel. I think that the DOJ on this one is not going on a witch hunt. I think that they have a concrete case, and it's going to be interesting as shit.
But what's even more interesting is nobody's talking about it the way you're talking about it.
Right.
Like the media, okay, let's
Well,
talk about,
they're
okay.
putting the lid on it. The
Well,
mainstream
okay,
media.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when there was all this shit boiling and roiling about Trump early in his presidency, the media, they were hungry. They were super, anything they could get, rumors, innuendo. Shifty Schiff could come out and basically say anything. They'd be like, Shifty Schiff, all this stuff. But it's like, it's super interesting. This could be the biggest bombshell story.
I think you just touched on who might be one of the number 2 or 3 indictment.
You think they're going to go for Obama?
Schiff. I really feel he's in
Well,
on it.
Well, yeah, they're going to get Schiff. Schiff, they can get Schiff on the national security, on some
Right.
national security stuff. I'm pretty confident. I mean, I don't specifically know, but I'm fairly confident that Schiff was like, I don't know,
He's
he was
done.
he was he was doing some bullshit. I think he's probably fast and loose with some stuff he probably shouldn't have been playing with, and I think he can get burned on it. Um, uh, but I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you're going to come at the king, you best not miss. I mean, I don't know.
That's it.
This could be the battle of the Mount Rushmores. There's only space left for one more face, and Trump is going to knock Obama off so he can put his face up there.
Well, and you have to remember the reason I'm thinking, excuse me, the reason I'm thinking that the feds have an ironclad case is because look how what they did to Trump, he's not going to sit back and say, okay, bygones are bygones. I'm sure that the DOJ was pretty aware of we better get an ironclad case because remember, if the DOJ looks bad on these indictments, Trump will look bad. And Trump does not want to look bad. That's why I really feel that they have the goods. I really do. I really do. Do you remember what it? Do you remember the saying in the election with when Trump was just elected this year? It's too big to rig, and this is too big to rig part due.
What can they do to buy? What can they do? I mean, Biden is basically senile. I mean, for all intents and purposes, and this is not a
Well,
hyperbolic or
I know what
partisan
I would
state.
I know what
Well,
I
hold
would do
on.
to Biden. I know.
Hold on. This is what I'm about to say is actually
Excuse me.
functionally true. It's not hyperbolic. For all intents and purposes, Biden has been declared mentally incompetent to stand trial for anything. So you basically can't do anything to him. What would you do to
Yes, you can.
Obama?
Well, let's get what I would do to Biden first. I would take away the ice cream machine. That'd be the first thing. That would do him in right there. To Obama, I'm sure that they have something in mind. What I don't know. How much could be claimed under executive privilege? How much could be claimed this? But if there's if the line was crossed, that's when it like I remember what I just said.
Obama. Okay, hold on. Just theoretically, or for the benefit of the listener, Obama's defense, because you have to understand, Obama, when he was president, and so he has a unique position constitutionally that resides in him as an individual, not just as an office, but as an individual. So the power that his office exerts comes from him individually. It rests with him officially and individually. So, Obama, and he has a president, he has immunity as the president for the actions that he lawfully conducted while he was president. Like, you can't
Correct.
sue him for doing his job. Like, you can't hold him criminally liable or civilly liable for doing his job as president. No, you can't just sue him and bankrupt him. Like, this is long settled precedent. All he has to do to defend himself is basically say, I was the president. I was the president. I hired these people to run my various departments, and I trust them. They're the professionals. I'm the executive. They're the operators. And when they come to me and they say Russians in the elections, I have to listen. And so, with his authority, he's go and do this, go this. He can basically be like, they told me. I'm not an expert. They told me every day I get a brief. They tell me the presidential daily brief. The Russians are putting missiles in Cuba, and the Russians have their finger up Trump's ass. I'm going to believe both of them, and that's going to be his defense. But
Exactly.
that's going to be his defense, and he's going to be immune
Unless
from
there is,
prosecution.
uh, unless they have something that was done illegally, then nobody's going to be immune. Because remember, look what they did to Trump when they said he brought the records down to Mar-a-Lago and all the FBI agents took over this that they did everything they could to Trump, which we know they did. The Letitia James thing, this thing, everything they did. And you really think in any way, shape, or form that Trump does not want his vindictiveness done? Yes, he does, and
I
I'm
mean,
sure he told cross the T's and dot the I's, boys.
Trump would love to get Hillary Obama with a mugshot. Oh, oh my God! If he could just get a mugshot. Oh, Oh, I mean, the historic nature of. So again, I have to zoom out here. I'm going to be apolitical right now. Instead of being, I'm obviously Republican and conservative in many ways, but I'm going to be apolitical right now. Okay, let's just talk about Obama historically. So, you know, it's becoming increasingly clear to me that there's a possibility that when Obama was elected, it was a very historical moment, for the country and for a lot of people, and really for the world. And that's fine, for black president, mixed race, well, all these different things, right? Because he's not, a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, whatever, freaking Yale boy, you know, John McCain, Navy, 5 generations of Navy, like whatever, like all this shit you can do, blue bloods, Ivy League, he came from nothing and kind of got up in there, that it's a rags to riches kind of story in a way. And, the black president and historical, and the way he felt for a lot of people, even people that didn't believe in him or want to vote for him, the way it felt. But it's becoming increasingly possible that, the rule is like, don't go too high with the highs. That way you won't go too low with the lows. That people got so high on Obama when he was president that now the lows are going to start coming, and maybe long term, Obama's history, his legacy may be quite crippled. He may not go down in history as considered like, he could go down as like a teapot dome scandal level of like Grant was kind of like that.
Yep.
Where just the scandals were just so much and it like almost broke the country. And, how that could just be like the history books may not judge Obama very well in 100 years other than black. Whereas the history books, it's entirely possible with Donald Trump, with all the stuff he's doing with how he's trying to get NATO to function right and get the Europeans to stop, giving money to the Russians, which they still do, by the way, and trade and tariffs and rebalancing the world economy and all this stuff. Like, the decisions that Donald Trump makes today, if they stick, are going to be felt for 100 years in this country. There's
Yes,
no
they are.
doubt about it. And it's interesting where what people think, it's kind of like, the argument with like collectible items, like collectible guns. People buy guns like, this is going to be collectible. And it's like, well, things that end up collectible generally are not predicted to be collectible. Things that end up being collectible because they're unusual and they weren't popular and they weren't these things. And then over time, it's like, I want to get one of them. And, it's just super interesting the moment that we're living in. If kind of what you're saying is true, it's like, ooh, if this turns out the way you're predicting. Well, speaking of which, because we kind of all got, as a matter of fact, you're the reason we got throttled by YouTube during COVID. You remember, right? We were talking about, Mrs. Danny and the COVID vaccines.
Right.
Yeah. And, this was a true story. I don't want to rehash all of it, but, there was issues with, I think, if I remember correctly, she couldn't take the vaccine.
Correct.
Yeah, she was medically not allowed to take the vaccine.
Correct. You know what's going
And
on.
yeah, and you mentioned this on pod, and
Right.
YouTube came down on us like a ton of fucking bricks. Like
Because
it
we
got
just,
so bad. I forever, because they said that we were vaccine deniers in the
right.
height of, and it's like, yo, that's not what's happening here.
No, it was a
And
medical necessity. She couldn't have it.
yeah, and ever since then, like I've decided, like this podcast, when I publish it, I don't publish it to our main YouTube channel where all the videos are. I publish it to a John 1911 podcast YouTube channel because I don't trust YouTube. So I don't
Right.
want to be in a situation where we can't talk about what we want to talk about on pod. And then I'm like,
No,
hey, don't say that. You'll get our YouTube channel taken down. I
I
did all of
remember
this
that. We
because
were
of
completely
fucking.
monetized. I remember
Well,
that.
no, we're not monetized. We were. They threatened to shut the channel down. And well, I'm saying that to say this: YouTube has just agreed to pay Donald Trump, I think it's $24 million for taking him off the platform when he was president. Did you hear that one?
Really?
Yeah,
I heard something about it.
I've heard 10, then I've heard 24, and I don't know if it was like maybe there's like a couple different conditions. And I wouldn't be surprised if you get down to the brass tacks, it's like it's 10 million or 24 million towards his library. You know what I mean? Like some shit like
Right.
that, which is a charity, I guess technically. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, where's my money, YouTube? I mean, to this day, I still don't have the podcast set up, optimized for our YouTube channel that could benefit our YouTube channel content wise because I don't trust them.
I
And
don't blame
I'm
you.
still proven right because the guy I mentioned when we first started, Ben Stoger, he just
Right.
got yanked off of YouTube a couple days ago. He had some shit pulled down. Another gun channel, 80 was it 8541? He's a police sniper in Indiana. He had videos taken down from 10 years ago and throttled on YouTube.
Hmm.
And this is all when YouTube's claiming that they're going to lift all the restrictions from COVID.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
all
it.
the news everybody's getting, but we're still seeing shit getting taken down from new rules from stuff, It's like, yeah,
Right.
nothing's changed. This is all bullshit. None of this is going to change.
Nope.
No, none of this is going to change.
No,
It's
it's
going to come
not.
right back as soon as we get close to 2028. We get into the silly season. Probably by the summer, probably by June of 2028. Facebook and YouTube are going to start clamping down again, and we're all going to get throttled because they're going to try to drag their favorite people across the finish line.
Yes, they
And
will.
it's like, and it's all this is just bullshit. It's all fake ass lying bullshit. And it's like that's why we built our own website
Yep,
because you can't touch me.
that's right.
Here's a fun fact. I've never actually disclosed this. How do I say this?
Yeah, don't get a
Ele- ele-
shakedown.
elements of the John 1911 website exist outside of the United States. And
Oh,
that's
I
on
know.
purpose. That's on
Well,
purpose.
sure it is, because that's where we buried our money offshore, wasn't
Yeah, us, and the in the, wait a minute. Who are the two guys? Who are the two brothers that are in Romania that all the kids like? That talk about that, like
Oh, you're
bro,
right.
the brokey, the
I
Tate
can't think.
brothers.
I know.
Yeah, I like the way. I like the. All I can say is I like the way they say Bugatti. And so yeah, we were overseas hiding our Bugatti money. You brokies, whatever they fucking talk. Yeah, yeah, little yeah.
Yes.
I'm the secret third brother.
Yeah.
So
The secret third brother. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
yeah,
That's it. So, well, yeah, so I'll be watching the politics in the coming days to see what's going on. And let's just see if I'm right in the long run. We'll see if I'm right. I feel I'm
yeah.
going to be on this one. I
It's gonna.
really
I
feel
don't.
I'm going to be. It's more long range. Remember, this is for long range, to these indictments, all this other stuff, the midterms. There's a whole lot involved. This isn't a short term first down. They're going for the touchdown. I really think
Hmm.
so. I really think so. So,
Hmm.
well, it is what it is. What can you do? What can you do? So, what's up in the world of sports? I'm
Oh,
finally getting a
so
break.
there's two things. I thought this was interesting. Number one, Serena Williams needs to hire a content manager. Because she doesn't Serena Williams, I don't know if you heard, she apparently had a little mini online meltdown about a display in a fancy five-star hotel. So
Right.
they put cotton up, I guess, I imagine it looked to me like, because I've spent some time in some five-star hotels, it looked to me like the little table that sits next to the elevator on every floor at the five-star hotel. At the
Right.
um, at the John Wick Hotel. What's the John Wick Hotel they blew up in that movie? I've never seen the movie.
I don't know.
Um,
I've never
the,
seen it either.
not the Intercontinental. Is it the Continental? It's the Continental because I used to stay at the Intercontinental. It's the Continental Hotel. So she's this fancy hotel, and they're put, because like if you've ever actually seen a cotton plant and it blooms or it like produces the cotton, it pops. Honestly, it's kind of pretty. Like it actually, like oh, that it's kind of pretty. And she saw that and decided that she was going to like, I can't believe as a black woman that there's cotton in this hotel. Like it has anything to do with her. And she's wearing probably like a $5,000 outfit, staying at a 5-star hotel. And, somehow she's oppressed by this cotton that's up there because it matches the drapes and the wallpaper and the whatever for the season, and somebody got paid big money to put that cotton there. And it's just like, oh God, like, and you could tell she doesn't have a social media manager. She was literally coming through the hotel and decided, I'm going to post this because I have thoughts, and didn't run it by anybody. And it's like blew right back up in her face. And it's like, holy shit, like that's terrible. I just thought that was funny. And then the other one was, so Donald Trump is a pimp, dude. I mean, he is a
Yeah, he
player
is.
and a pimp. And Donald Trump is decided. So in 2026, it will be, what is it, the 250th anniversary of the country, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, 2026. So he wants to have, so he's doing his big old gold dining room, which they kind of need. Politics aside, they do actually need that there at the White House. But he wants to set up on the lawn outside he wants to set up a big fight, a UFC fight on the lawn during the 250th celebrations, and he's trying to get Conor McGregor, and I don't know who. Maybe they'll get the 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 Russian who's not a Russian, the white Russian. I can't ever say his name. Komet.
I don't follow that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's retired. But they want to do this big old fight and have this big UFC fight on the lawn of the White House and just have a big event because this is just Trump. Trump wants to make it like a casino, which is fine. Like a casino's gonna be fun. But so Conor McGregor has come out with his conditions, and it's like, and you're like, well, okay. Before I tell you these conditions, you're like, okay, Conor, like come on, like get the fuck over yourself. But then I was doing further reading. Conor McGregor this summer re-entered the USADA drug testing protocol. I believe it's
Really?
USADA, a drug. Yeah, so it looks like Conor's trying to come back in. It's like, whoa, like if he's following a USADA protocol where they can show up and do the pop piss test, it's like, like there could be something to this. So McGregor has come out and he says he wants $100 million guaranteed for this fight, and I think he wants 15 golden visas for the fight. And like how Trump started
The
the
gold
visa
V?
program.
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
where like you pay $5 million and you can become like a citizen, but you don't have
Right,
to.
an
You can
American.
you can stay. You don't become a citizen, but you can stay. So you don't
And you
necessarily have to
go,
pay.
yeah, you go to the front of the line.
Yeah, you don't become a citizen, but you can permanently become a permanent resident. And then there's like some tax implications, which actually would be more beneficial to be the golden visa holder as opposed to being a U.S. citizen, because a U.S. citizen has a full tax exposure. And it's like, it's like that's interesting. Well, he's asked for 15 of these fucking things. I think it was 15. It was a fair amount of them because he wants them for his immediate family and some of his friends. And I'm like, wait a minute, Connor, weren't you trying to be the prime minister or whatever of Scotland there for a minute, or the whatever
Yeah,
they called it up
something,
there?
right.
It's like, well, if you're trying to get a golden visa to the U.S., it's like you must not be trying to be whatever in Scotland. But
Right.
it's like, is Conor McGregor going to move to the U.S. and become a U.S. citizen or a U.S. permanent visa holder, resident visa holder? At the 250th anniversary of America, fighting on the lawn uh, at the White House for $100 million?
Well, Trump is tight with Dana White, real tight with him, that owns the UFC. So it would not surprise me. It would
So
not
okay,
surprise me
so
at all.
so does the $100 million come from Dana White selling this as a promotion, or does it come from the Treasury Department?
I
Like,
think it
I'm
would
just
be I
curious.
I think Dana White would have would have the exclusive rights to all TV and advertising promos.
See, a lot of listeners don't know this, but in a former life, I was a pretty accomplished martial artist. I used to teach martial. I was a martial arts instructor, and I mean, I've never like you see Connor, and he does the. Have you ever seen his walk where he's got this strut where he swings his arms
Yes,
like they're
yes, I
loose?
have.
And I saw this video of this little kid. He's at like a taekwondo tournament or, I don't know, Shotokan, like some basic karate tournament. And I mean, the kid's like 6 or something. Like he's real little. And, they got full headgear on and, little gi and, his little like yellow belt, white belt, whatever it is. And this kid, like it's a big tournament. And so he's walking, this kid walks out and he's doing his best Conor McGregor swagger walk. And I'm like, I guarantee you, where I used to teach, they probably got kids doing that fucking walk, and it's just like it would be fun to see Conor McGregor come back. Um, I just thought that was interesting. $100 million. It's like, money's money. That's fine. All these baseball players and football players get all that money. 15 golden visas. It's like, huh? Somebody's coming to America.
Yeah, they are.
I thought
Yes,
that was.
they
I
are.
thought. I thought it was fun. So anyway. Well, I didn't want to keep you up all night. I just want to get you in and out on our
No,
podcast.
we have to do more of these quick, extemporaneous type pods, and just say what's going on. I'm going to be watching the news very, very closely the next few days to see what's coming up out of this, and I think we're going to get hit with. I still say there's going to be some bombshell, news coming out of this whole Comey thing.
That's interesting because I haven't heard that from anybody. I tell you what, this could be the moment that makes your career. I'm going to
Well,
lose you.
you have you
You're going to
look.
get hired by you're going to be the designated conservative at NPR. Like, the guy that made the call over John 1911. You'll be like, who's the guy on CNBC who pulled all his money out of the stock market right before the flash crash in '86? Jim Cramer. Jim
Perot? No,
Cramer.
no,
Jim
yeah,
Cramer. It made his career.
right.
He got out. They're like, "Why you're so smart?" And it's like, Danny, why are you so smart? There you. I'll tell you what. We're
Why?
not going to
Because
do
I
it.
cut my teeth on the John 1911 podcast.
That's right. You heard it here first. Well, we're not going to do a police blotter, but I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this one. This is the best headline, and it's. I'm not going to read the headline because they make this complicated argument. I'll have a link to it on the website. So, climate change, right? Al
Yeah,
Gore
tree
25
hugging.
years ago, in
He,
12
well,
years,
hey,
the
you got to respect
climate's,
that guy. He created the internet, so you have to
yeah, he
respect him.
created the internet. In 12 years, the water and the sea rises, and I'm telling you, lockbox and all this shit. Then it's like 15 years and 20 years or whatever. And none of the, apparently the ice is increasing in some of these places now. And it's like, oh, yeah, the patterns are, sea level. Like I saw a picture the other day of sea level at the Statue of Liberty from 100 some years ago, and then sea level at Statue of Liberty like a month ago, and it was literally you could see the brick. It was literally the same level, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, nothing's really changed. So what is that causes a problem for the client for the whole global warming crisis because you got to have a crisis,
Oh
right? And
yeah,
they used to they
either
used to do
real
a
or
thing.
manufactured.
Yeah, like all the ice is going to disappear. Then they showed all the polar bears without the ice, right? And the polar bears, they don't have any ice; they're going to drown, right? Never mind, polar bears can swim for whatever. So here's the latest. This is real. It's from multiple sources. I'm not saying you're credible, but it's multiple. This is what they're floating. The new crisis for climate change, why I have to, why your diesel fucking truck can't get more than 30,000 miles, is because climate change is now causing polar bears to age more rapidly. So they've somehow done testing, and polar bears in the 60s, when they were 5 years old, had the genetics of a 5-year-old. But now in 2025, if they're 5 years old, they have the genetics of a 7-year-old. And so now we have to do it. Now we're back to saving the polar bears for now a different reason, because somehow, diesel trucks are somehow keep making polar bears age faster. And it's like these dirty commies will do anything to try to hold on to this crap.
You know,
These bullshit things.
and the scariest part of it, the followers that follow them and can't think for them fucking selves. Excuse my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's scary,
And it's
isn't
like,
it?
yeah, and it's genius too, because like anyone can get a WeFax satellite or a GeoSat weather satellite, and you can look and you can see the ice every day. You can use LiDAR and you can see the ice. You can measure the ocean temperatures. You can measure and you don't need Al Gore to be like, trust me, the ice is different now than it was, because you can just look yourself. So now they need to come up with a new metric that none of us can really check, because nobody's really inclined to stick their finger up the polar bear's asshole to test its prostate to see if it's got prostate cancer now, because it's older than it needs to be. And it's like, this is just like these commies will make up any crazy thing to try to hang on to all this stuff. And it's just like, I thought it was worth sharing, because you heard it here first. It popped up yesterday. You're going to hear it within a month. AOC will be talking about it in a year.
That's the scary part. That's the
Okay,
fucking scary part.
I had to get it out. That just really burned my ass. I'm like, are you morons? Anyway, we're done. This is episode 384 of the John 1911 podcast.
We're done.
You want to see more stories or pictures or links about a polar bear that has prostate cancer? Please go to the website at john911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good night.
Bye-bye.